Very good morning. You're with the news on headlines today. I'm Rishika Barwa. All eyes will be on Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley as he presents Modi government's first full-year budget today. The budget is expected to be Modi government's make-or-break fiscal exercise for the economic reforms and growth for the country, besides the push for Prime Minister's Make in India campaign that aims to make the country a global manufacturing hub and create jobs. Finance Minister is likely to announce a slew of SOPs to win over the middle class. That may also include raising the tax slab or hiking investment limit in saving instruments. Arun Jaitley is expected to unveil initiatives to boost investments by corporates. He may also postpone the implementation of the controversial GAAR by another 2 years to improve the investment climate in the country. He may also announce tax concessions for the special economic zones to bring back investors. The government has underlined the need for big bang reforms to boost growth to 8 to 10% in the coming years. In a bid to pursue the path of fiscal consolidation, Jaitley is likely to keep the fiscal deficit target at 3.6% of GDP, down from 4.1% expected for the current fiscal year. Union Budget 2015 is going to be one of the most keenly watched, highly anticipated budgets. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, who presents his first full budget today, has a very difficult job of ensuring that India regains its spot as an investor's hub. This is one of the poll promises that Narendra Modi had harped on, easing rules for doing business and signalling long-term economic reforms without hurting the vast consuming class is obviously going to be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's biggest challenge. All right, joining me live is my colleague Smita Sharma from the National Capital. Smita, you know, the promise of Achhe Din that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has fought this election on, delivering that promise now firmly rests on the shoulders of Arun Jaitley.
Jaitley's sort of a game today to be presenting that budget, but clearly people would be expecting that clear Narendra Modi stamp on this first full budget of the NDA government, and especially given that economic survey that was presented in Parliament yesterday, where it mentioned that how India is in a sweet spot and that the time seems ripe for big bang reforms. So really it's from the common man to the corporates, both would be looking at to this budget to see if this indeed proves to be the big bang budget, especially as far as the manufacturing sector in India is concerned, to boost manufacturing growth, to boost exports. Will there be enough corporate tax breathers that will be given in? Will business be eased by, you know, making out, by really going in for the big reforms? GST, right, the goods and services taxes, remains a big headache for the government. That has to be rolled out in April of next year. So will the government be able to take concrete steps towards that? For the common man, of course, we are expecting some sort of a, you know, tax breather, if not directly by increasing the tax brackets, but by increasing the tax exemption limits, especially in sectors like, you know, when you go in for a health insurance or when you go in for pension sectors. So clearly a lot of eyes here on this budget, which I think is being looked at perhaps after the post-90s, you know, when the Indian market was really liberalized with Manmohan Singh and VP Singh government. This is, I think, the next budget that is really being talked about so much. Rishika?
All right, a lot of anticipation definitely, Smita, as to what exactly Arun Jaitley is in fact going to deliver. I'd also like to bring in my colleague Jugal Purohit, who is in fact joining us live from Arun Jaitley's residence. Jugal, you know, could this be a bitter pill for many to swallow, as Prime Minister had indicated last year as well? Or is, you know, Finance Minister perhaps expected to dole out a lot of SOPs? There is a lot of expectation from this budget. Every single section has a lot of expectation from the man whose house outside you're standing right now.
Absolutely, Rishika. Arun Maharaj Kishan Jaitley, 62-year-old finance minister, a thoroughbred Delhi politician, will be presenting what is perhaps in India's recent history since the 1991 liberalization, first full budget of a full majority government. That's what's going to happen today, a historic occasion. There is little doubt about that. And as you said, every section of the society, be it the industrialists, be it the Aam Aadmi, be it the political class, be it the party itself, everyone has expectations. And yes, there is no doubt that this time around also, if you are to look at it, what was 5.5% growth is 7.4 under the new methodology of calculation. So there is some jugglery of numbers, as they call it, that is being blamed on the government,
right,
that it's trying to present a rosy picture. But facts are facts, and the fact tell us that the commodity prices globally are at an all-time low. The crude oil prices are at an all-time low. This has saved for the government at least 80,000 crore worth of revenue annually. It's a big amount. Will the government choose to, spend it wisely? Will we be seeing more of welfare schemes? The industry, mind you, has said that perhaps, if not now, there will never be a time for big bang reforms. The word I'm borrowing from yesterday's economic survey, which was released. So there is, as you said, a lot of expectation from all possible quarters, and it remains to be seen what use this historic opportunity is of to the nation, to the party, to the finance minister, and to the prime minister, who's been hard selling the Make in India campaign. Remember, recently, if I may just conclude by saying, the captains of the industries have said that for the last 8 months, while we've heard a lot, but still there is hardly any change on the ground. So just what will take place from here on is anybody's guess. But 8:40 is when he will be moving out of this gate that is behind me, and then from here on to the presidential house, the cabinet meeting, and then of course the parliament at 11.
All right, Jugal, stay on with us. Also joining me live is my colleague Ankit Tyagi from the National Capital. Ankit, as we've been talking, this is a budget that has huge expectations from all quarters, whether it is the lower income groups, the mid-income groups, and of course industry. Can there be a repeat of the rail budget? There was, a lot of joy after the rail budget. Pretty much everybody was happy. Very few people came out and actually criticized it. But it is going to be a very difficult task for Arun Jaitley to please everybody in this budget, especially given the fact that this is a full budget that is being, put out by Modi-Jaitley combination, who've got a full majority.
Well, if anything, if any indication that the rail budget has given, Rishika, what the industry is expecting, that at least it will be on the similar lines. Suresh Prabhu tried to balance it out. It was not a very populist budget, but he tried to balance it out, and that's the task cut out for Arun Jaitley also. All eyes would be whether it's a populist budget or it has some pragmatic solutions as far as the industry is concerned. Main focus, as what we have been told, would be, of course, to ensure that there is a lot of investment that comes into India. There has been a demand from the social sector also to increase spending in education, in health. We'll have to wait and see how much can the finance minister, of course, can spare on that. Plus a big demand there as well from the defense sector as well. So he will have to be, of course, come out with pragmatic solutions, but all indications are that it may not be a very populist budget. The government is very keen to push a few reforms. As Jugal was also pointing out, that industry experts feel that so far there has been a lot of euphoria about the environment, about the semantics, but nothing much has happened as far as the industry is concerned on the ground. And this, of course, will be a great opportunity. But the Aam Aadmi, the service class, is still hoping that they will get some stops as far as the tax slabs are concerned. They will get some relief as far as that is concerned. That is something that the Aam Aadmi and the salaried class will be waiting for. What sort of a tax slab? Is there a rejig as far as the tax slabs are concerned in this budget?
Well, absolutely. The budget is expected to vigorously push Modi's pet Make in India campaign. It's also supposed to be reining in the Achhe Din for the middle class. But it is a make or break fiscal exercise for the promised economic reforms and, of course, to put India on the long-term high growth rate. Can the Modi Sarkar deliver on all these parameters is a question that will be answered in a few hours from now. Ankit Tyagi, Jugal Purohit and Smita, thanks so much for joining us this morning.